Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of r/JustNoMil. In today's episode, MIL crossed all boundaries today. She keeps fat shaming my son. MIL keeps interfering with marriage and how I parent. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. MIL crossed all boundaries today. I belong from a South Asian family and we live in Canada. Hubby and I live with our in-laws and it's been a rocky relationship. Everything goes fine and then every few months MIL creates an issue out of nothing. I'm 8 months pregnant and when I got pregnant, friends and family assured she'll change when she finds out I'm pregnant. She was still creating issues every other month but she got better around 5th month. That was also the time I stopped giving an EFF about everything and focused on myself and the baby. Hubby has supported me from day one and he's fought with her for me. On Thursday hubby and MIL had an argument which blew up. I wasn't involved in it so stayed out of it. I potentially have COVID so have been resting for most part. Woke up normally today on Saturday, wished her good morning. She blew up about something completely irrelevant. DH responded to her. They had a huge argument and DH told her we don't want her baby shower and we don't want her included in baby's life and we're moving out. She kept involving me in the argument saying I said this or that to her a year back. At this point, DH steps and says why do you keep treating my pregnant wife like this? She says so what if she's pregnant, everyone has been pregnant once. He asks me to go to my room to not stress me out further. FIL is trying to shut her up, DH threw some stuff in anger, but she continues yelling hatred at me. I come to my room shaking and crying to just get a break and then she forces herself in my room, trying to hug me. I asked her to please leave me alone but she starts forcing herself on with hugs and kisses. I'm just so anxious with this behavior. DH tries to move her away and she's literally forcing her way into our room. I told DH to take me away from the house, but they wouldn't let us go. He stood in between us and told her off. We finally went out of the house to cool down, grabbed a drink from Timmy's and drove around for an hour. We're officially done with her. She has so much anger and hatred for me. She keeps trying to involve my parents into her drama when they live in a different country. She thinks they're going to be like traditional parents of a girl and apologize to her. But my parents are pretty strong and they don't believe in this sexism. I don't want to involve them because I'm an adult and DH and I can make our own decisions. Secondly, they're gonna support me cause they know how MIL has treated me right from when we got engaged to now. In summary, we've decided to move out for sure. We're looking to buy our own place, we're going to speed up the process and hopefully move out before the baby comes. I'm feeling so anxious right now. I've been in abusive relationships in the past and any physical altercation makes me so anxious. Move ASAP. It's only gonna get worse if you keep allowing this behavior to continue. Fellow Desi Bahu. I wish it was that easy. We looked at getting a short-term rental but it's so hard to find in our area, which is experiencing a major housing crisis. Airbnbs are like $5,000 a month. We can't afford that while also looking to buy a place. We have to stay here for a couple of months. We do pay rent to his parents too, so it's not like we're living for free. Make sure she doesn't have any access to your money, emails. She might try to stop you from moving, canceling meetings, stopping you from going. But mostly take care of yourselves. She doesn't have access to my savings, but she does have access to my wedding jewelry. And all my DH's savings are with FIL. So he's going to chat with him for taking that back for deposit of our home. He's a nice guy and he will for sure give that back to us. They're not money-minded, she's just super controlling. But the money lies with him and he's fine with us. I'm so sorry you are dealing with this. She physically assaulted you by forcing her hugs and kisses on you. I'm so glad that your DH has your back and you will be out of there. I don't know if they have this in your area, but we have apartments near us that have executive apartments, which are typically used for business or those finishing up their house. It's basically a spacious studio or suite that is fully furnished with some extra room for minimal added furniture, think crib, that is on a month-to-month lease. Some hotels have the same option. It could be an option if you are cutting it close to your due date before you can close on a house. Says so what if she's pregnant? Everyone has been pregnant once. Well, over half the population would beg to differ. It seems like a silly thing for me to point out. But I am, to highlight how far she'll stretch to justify invalidating you. It's such a laughably absurd thing to say. Very glad you're getting out of there, OP. In addition to everything else, I'd also advise to keep the people who tried telling you she'd change on possible guard. Not suggesting cutting them out or going low contact or anything. Most were probably trying to be optimistic without understanding the situation. But those are the people that could be candidates for flying monkey status later on. Take care of yourself, OP. Someone yelling at and about me only to grab at me and try to hug and kiss me when I get away, especially when pregnant, would be terrifying. Good luck house/rental hunting. Really consider what access she has to LO, even supervised, because anyone who goes from 0 to 100 and back to 0 is dangerous. This is so why I hate cultural expectations that are so out of date. The woman having to live with the in-laws. Nope. That should be stopped and not expected. I'm so glad DH has your back. Once you move, do not allow her near your child. If she hates you this much, I doubt she'll love your child as it'll be half you. WTF is wrong with these mothers? Seriously screaming like that at a pregnant woman? That's just sick TBH. If buying is going to take a while, I'd get a short-term tenancy somewhere. Or a long-stay hotel. Anything to get out of there within days. It will get worse now she knows you're going to be moving out. If she's like every other JustNo, then she will try to make your life hell whistle you're still there, as she knows once you're gone she won't see you again. Write down everything she has done to you in a notebook. Then when you're in your post-birth happy haze you won't think it's a good idea to allow her to visit just to meet the baby. You think you won't, but lost birth bliss is a real thing and your hormones tell your brain that it's time to make amends. When you feel that way, read that notebook. It'll bring you back down to reality. Plus DH is likely to want his parents to meet the baby while you're still in hospital or as soon as you get home, as he will be feeling some of that bliss too. That notebook will save both of you from making a huge mistake. Plus it's handy to have everything written down with dates and times etc. in case she escalates when you have the baby. The notebook will be handy if you ever need to call the police etc. Just go through many posts on here about MILs who get baby rabies and go scorched earth in trying to get what they want. I hope you get a new place super fast, as you don't have much time before baby gets here. Once you're out, invest in cameras for outside the house and document all her crazy so that if needs be you can get a RO, since the woman has already touched you without your consent. I recommend that when you let them meet baby it be in public so she has to try and mind her P's and Q's, and I'd make them wait until baby has their first shots, so like at 2 months. Congrats and good luck OP. She keeps fat shaming my son. My MIL lives in our in-law suite. Limited interaction with the rest of the household, me, my husband, and our 12-year-old son. I've posted around Reddit with some details about the raising of our boy. He's autistic, hyperactive, and prone to violent outbursts. He's been taking a very effective cocktail of meds, which has vastly improved the quality of life for all of us. The drawback is, it has made him gain weight. Like, a lot of weight. MIL has started making sh*tty comments about his stretch marks. She told him yesterday that he was so much cuter when he wasn't so big. Emphasis mine. Due to my iron spine in the past, I try to let my husband deal with her, but he just doesn't. So. I heard her make that comment and said, "I don't appreciate you fat shaming my son. Now I'm going to have to ask you to stop." She states that she didn't and I am overreacting. I said, "Don't talk about his weight at all." I told her, "You're going to make him flip out." Was I loud? A little. But as she so often reminds me when I ask her to tone it down, I'm just a loud person, sorry. Not really looking for advice, I've got her number and I'm dealing with her just fine. Just wanted to scream into the void, because my husband is siding with her and I'm livid. I spent my entire life being shamed by my own mother for my weight, my looks, my grades, my boyfriends. You name it, everything was wrong about it. So to think I'm going to just sit back and let someone else savage my only child. Get out of here. The best part is, my sister-in-law thinks I'm abusing her mother. Honey, if setting boundaries is abuse, I'm guilty as charged. If Asael thinks you're abusing Mil, she can take her mom home with her. But great job op. Exactly. This. Right here. Asael can have her. Then she can save her poor mother from mean OP who asks such unreasonable things of mother like to tone it down and not fat shame a vulnerable child. Good on you for your shiny spine and keeping MIL in line. Hope your hubby gets his act together or maybe he needs to go and stay with Asael for a bit too. Your sister-in-law can take her in. She had, originally, but the woman is just too much. I don't mind taking her in, but let's be real about why I'm doing it, you know. My husband keeps telling me to let it go, but his father thinks I'm a gold digger and his sister thinks I'm abusive, and I've never seen an entire family get things so wrong before. I'm probably the only person operating here with eyes open. Seriously. Asael must be so frightened for her mom, the only reasonable thing to do would be to rush to her, pack her things, get her to safety. Time for Asael to save her mom. Asael, we are not stopping you from rushing in there, packing all her sh*t, and whisking her rude ass right out the door. Please don't let her derogatory comments about your body slow you down. Now, hup hup. I used to weigh 115 to 20. My antidepressants have taken that to 150. It's worth it. I'm sorry your DH is siding with her. I would be livid too. Your poor son has probably non-stop heard/overheard/felt that something is wrong with him from multiple people. His doctors finally find a way to help him, now a new criticism starts, his weight. Poor kid can't win, and mom is the only one defending him. I hope your DH realizes that's how his son may see this. For what it's worth, a friend's sister with schizophrenia has the same problem with meds. One of the most effective ones for her causes significant weight gain. She constantly was starting and stopping it because of that. What seemed to help was when her mom read about adults with similar med issues recommending diet/cooking books like volumetrics. They didn't follow it religiously, but tried to keep something in the fridge to satisfy her non-stop hunger. I agree with those saying MIL can't live there if she continues to abuse DS. If DH objects he can be MIL's roommate. If your SIL thinks you are abusing her now, wait until she and your hubby is kicked out. Good for you. There's no reason for MIL to make comments like that, but it's especially bad since his weight issues are so to medical things out of his control. As far as SIL, if she doesn't like you laying down boundaries with MIL, then she can have MIL come live at her house. MIL keeps interfering with marriage and how I parent. I, 24, female, have been married almost a year and a half and have a 4-month-old baby. Over the past year and a half she has had these big dramatic incidents, and then brushes it off because she's sensitive and never means any harm. She plays the victim and my husband's entire family validates her on it. My FIL has often said awful things about me during these incidents as well. The first was when we were at the courthouse getting our marriage license. We were so excited and she messaged my now husband saying, "Don't do this, don't leave us, we're your family and sometimes people can see things from the outside looking in, something is off with her and if you're meant to be with her you will find your way back later in life," basically implying I'm not the right girl for him. This was a shock to me since she helped me plan the wedding, and acted like I was already part of the family to my face. I cried outside the courthouse and she ruined that special day for us before our wedding. She cried saying when we got married she'd never see him anymore now that he's not gonna be close, and that I was taking him away from her. The second time she blew up was when I was pregnant and it was about my sister who is 17, and recently moved in with me because my parents went through a rough divorce. She had a hard year and is starting her senior year and we're close. My MIL wanted me to kick her out because it's unfair, she will get to see the baby more since she'll be living with me. Then they had this big idea because they wanted to move to this big city halfway across the state. They expected us to move with them and even rent a huge house that was so expensive it would have taken my husband and his dad's income. She and my FIL were pushing us to basically move across state and live with them. When I told her I didn't want to leave my family, she said I basically needed to get a divorce because I was a bad wife and not all in. She said sometimes, we have to leave our family and listen to our husbands. She prides herself on being a good housewife and lets my FIL control money, choices, everything. She does not work, and she gets in trouble if dinner isn't done for him every day. She loves it and prides herself on being old-fashioned and a good housewife for him. A side note is my husband also did not want to move either. The next time was when my husband wasn't around, she gave my baby to some woman she barely knew. The second my husband wasn't around she felt she could do as she pleased. Even though we already had a discussion about COVID and germs and only family holding her. I told my husband not to make a big deal about it when I talked to him, but he told her that wasn't appropriate and she played victim and cried and his father shamed him for setting boundaries with his mother. His father is always like, you know how much your mother has done for you. You owe her everything. She then messaged my husband saying I'm treating them like they're horrible, and not family. She told him it takes a village to raise a baby and I need to be more sharing and that I'm crazy for not wanting strangers that I've never even been introduced to, holding my baby in public places. After this discussion my MIL said she pretty much gets jealous seeing other people hold my daughter in pics, and that my stepmom shouldn't count as direct family or get to hold my baby. When my husband was away working I never visit her. But she lives 30 minutes away and does nothing and has her own car. I have a newborn and it's harder for me to pack a diaper bag up to go all the way and see her. I tried to explain it works both ways but my FIL agreed with her. One of the most recent times she blew up was about my next baby. When I was 3 months postpartum I found out I was pregnant again and this time I'm having a boy. I was a pushover last time after my daughter was born and let her be smothery and stay the night because I didn't want to hurt her feelings, even though I felt it was unnecessary and wanted privacy. We've decided to do things differently this time and explain we really don't want any overnight visits and we want alone time as a couple and to give us time to adjust. I really want to breastfeed this time. I pumped some but it didn't last long last time because they were always around and my MIL and FIL don't want to leave to give me privacy to breastfeed, but also don't want me to do it in front of them. It made things difficult and my supply went down because I couldn't feed her directly much. This time I want alone time to adjust. Because of this she said I was dividing her family and she's seen it coming for a while. She said I was basically trying to get rid of her or replace her and my FIL told my husband I'm trying to take him away from them. She said I'm the reason her and my husband aren't as close anymore. When I explain that she hurts my feelings or says things that aren't true she tells people I'm overreacting and mean to her because my mother has always treated me awful and I don't know how to love a family. They also pulled my husband aside before when I got my taxes that was from my working before I even met my husband. They wanted me to donate $700 to their church and felt the need to pull my husband aside and tell him to make me do it. It hurts they don't include me in financial discussions. They've also tried to give my newborn soda and Mountain Dew and honey which doctors don't recommend before a year old as it poses a health risk. My MIL argued that my husband was fine and she gave him honey and pancake syrup instead of baby food some as a baby. They've been very controlling and caused issues in my marriage. Other than these times my husband and I don't argue or stress like ever. I told my husband I want someone else to watch her the days I'm giving birth in the hospital. They've already assumed and made comments that they are going to watch her. But now I'm uncomfortable. They don't seem to like me and they talk bad about me so much. My baby will be over a year old then and so impressionable. It would hurt and stress me to think she's around people talking bad about her mother. They also have huge dogs that have not children, and they don't control them much. These dogs sleep in the bed with them and will probably still be triple my daughter's size when she's 1. I'm worried about that and about them giving her food that I don't approve of. I keep telling my husband he needs to tell them now and not wait because they'll probably flip out over this too and I don't want to worry about it when I'm getting ready to give birth. It's been a month and my husband still hasn't said anything. I think he's nervous to stand up to them and hurt their feelings since they've always been so close. I'm so tired and stressed over it all and that wasn't even all of their blow-ups, just examples. These incidents get dragged out weeks as well and are very stressful. What can I do? What should I do about everything? So here's something you need to realize. You could be a carbon copy of your MIL and they would still hate you. You can't win and honestly they're so horrible and entitled you shouldn't want to. They have straight up bullied you guys and I understand you're young but what is the worst thing they could do you guys? Yell and be mean and talk sh*t. They already do that even when you're doing what they ask. Stop it. Lean into being the bad guy. Doing it their way hasn't made you happy or kept the peace. They want conflict. Don't play. You don't have to listen to her rants. You can hang upon her or say, I'll talk to you when you're calm. They are essentially trying to be this parents. This can lead to some messed up grandparents write sh*t down the line. Info diet. Don't answer all their calls and texts. You're the mama bear. Not her. I believe in you and I know you probably avoided be mean because you thought if you were nice enough or gave in this one thing she'll finally get that you want to be a family. She doesn't want you to be in her family. So many red flags here. You and your so need to stand up to these people. You have your own family now and need to protect your little ones. If your so refuses to give them boundaries and stick to them, I'm afraid you have a hard decision to make. Get yourselves into couples therapy ASAP. Couples therapy. Quick. You can't change them, and your husband prioritizes their feelings over yours. OP, everyone here is going to tell you to not feel bad about setting boundaries and sticking to them. I 100% agree. But what I'm going to tell you is how I learned to not feel bad when I did it. Everyone told me when I was pregnant that I was going to be their voice, their champion, their protection. And while I knew that and was ready for it, putting it into action has been harder. My hub's family is justies for the most part, but they're not big on boundaries and will teeter on just maybe territory a lot. I made it clear during my pregnancy that I wanted to be asked before touching my belly. One time early on MIL just reached for me and I pulled away and she muttered, "Oh, you're going to be a lot of fun." It hurt. I didn't want her upset with me. But then I thought about my sweet potato. Would I want her to feel the same guilt and anxiety I did for simply enforcing a personal boundary of not being touched? The answer was no. I wanted to raise her to be a self-assured woman who was comfortable being assertive but polite. The only problem I realized was that I need to be that example for her. I couldn't just tell her to be confident, I would have to show her how to be, or at least convincingly fake, being confident. I've become so much bolder since then. I keep telling myself the time to practice being the woman I want my daughter to grow into is now so I can screw up a couple times, and get into the habit of being bold. You can do this. Well, I just love how your Mil admits to being sensitive and everyone agrees she is, so they cater to her wants. Sensitive is her description for manipulative. She's trying to make you knuckle under to her demands like the rest of them and, poor her, you just have a spine. Welp. Too bad, so sad, little Susie homemaker, it's past time Susie grew up and learned she's not the queen of the world. Do not entertain her shenanigans and don't feel guilty about not entertaining them. Think of it as an exercise in readjustment of her worldview, for her own good. In fact, you're doing her a favor. As for that enabling FIL. How he deals with his wife is his burden to bear and has nothing to do with you or your DH. When he calls wanting you both to cater to his old ball and chain, you should inform him it's not your responsibility to lighten his load. He stepped up and said, "I do," to her whole shtick, he can marinate in it. She is his to manage. Get your practice in on saying no. Keep it tripping off your tongue. Feel no guilt for saying it, standing up for yourself, and protecting your boundaries. You are building a beautiful new family unit, which is the natural progression of families. You're both entitled to live your lives as you deem appropriate. Do so with a lighter heart. You've already gotten some great advice here. Just had to add, "It takes a village" comment. The job of the village is to support mom and dad, not take over and tell mom and dad how to parent. You get to decide who gets what roles in the village. And a great quote from a homeschool convention t-shirt, "We've seen the village. That's why we homeschool." You need to read the Rock the Boat post. It is linked in resources or you can Google it. Also, consider reading some other resources. I liked Toxic In-Laws, Loving Strategies for Protecting Your Marriage by Susan Forward. MIL and FIL are not allowed into your house unless DH is there, if at all, and not often. Block them both on your phone/SM and make all contact through DH. Let him feel their full impact. And on the breastfeeding front, of course they blocked you to kill off your supply so Mil could bottle-fed your baby. Do whatever it takes. Tonda what you want with this baby, walk away from them if need be. I don't think that they should be in OP/DH's house, unless both are there. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and we will see you in the next video.